Hey guys, so I'm here today. I'm super excited to be sharing with you finally my adoption story. I've been holding this back for a little while. It took a while to write it and everything, but now we're finally here to share with you. I have a lot of details I wanted to share with you because adoption I feel like is a very important thing because it is not easy to adopt a child, especially as a single mother as my mom was. So I wanted to share some pictures with you and just share you how it all happened and my adoption story. So please like and subscribe down below and let's get started. Throughout, I'm just going to be posting some pictures as I talk. So let's get started. I am very happy that my mom adopted me. Obviously, I wouldn't be here right now if she didn't. And I'm just very grateful for that because I know she went through a lot of stuff to get me, and then she went through a lot of stuff financially as well because I saw some of those paperworks of how much she spent to just adopt a child, and that's not even taking care of the child while I'm here. It was just all the upfront costs and all that stuff before she even got me, how much she spent for that, and I was like, holy crap. Like, you would never think it's that much to just adopt a child, considering there's so many orphan children out there and everything, so that is crazy, and I just wanted to share my story with you, because if you're adopted too, like, I know some people feel weird about being adopted, but I'm so grateful for that, and I don't think adoption should be like a baggage type thing. I think people should be proud of it and happy. So I have a little document right here that I'll be reading off of that I put bullet points, because my mom and I, in the car ride one time, like when we were going to Minnesota, I think, or something, I just sat there and asked her a lot of questions about stuff, and then I typed it up. So this was a dual effort to make this video. So I was adopted in China. I was adopted in Zhejiang, China, and I was 14 months old when I was adopted. So that's a year and 2 months. There was 13 families that went with my mom, and they called themselves the Lucky 13. So I think that was cute. And those families were all from the United States. So they all had to fly out to China to go get their children. There is some adoption agencies from China and like places over there. Well, they will send the children over to the United States, and then the families will pick them up essentially there. But there are some options too to go fly over to China and get them too. So they all met in Hong Kong for their orientation. They came from a lot of places in the US, like I said, like California, Georgia, Wisconsin, Colorado, Texas, and then obviously Nebraska. And then from Hong Kong, my mom and the group flew to Nanjing. When they got off the bus, some parents were able to go to the orphanage and get their child, and some parents had to wait like 1 to 2 days to get their child, but luckily my mom was able to get me the first day. So my mom and her friend came to the orphanage to get me. She didn't go alone, which was nice, and like I said, she is a single mother, so she went with one of her friends who like videotaped stuff and took pictures. So the orphanage was only like an hour and 45 minutes away from the hotel. When they got off the bus, my mom looked over and then she saw me sitting in a granny's lap. They call grannies as in like the nannies and stuff there, because it's an orphanage, obviously there's no parents. And then my mom walked to me. She showed me the picture she had of me, which I don't know if it's actually me, guys. I will show you this because my boyfriend and I were looking at it, and my boyfriend's like, that's not you. And I was like, what? And we looked at the nose. I was like, I don't know if that is me. But anyways, my mom had that picture, and she showed me, and she's like, I am your mama. And I was like, stared at her for a little bit. We bonded, and I hugged her and everything. And for the next 10 days, we just like hung out and stuff at the hotel. We went places. She said, compared to all the other parents and children, we had like the greatest bond so quickly and just like the strongest bond. Mom said we would walk through like the hotel lobby, and I'd grab her finger like this or 2 fingers like this. I remember doing this too when I was really young in the United States, but I remember like grabbing her fingers and stuff. So I must have started it off when I was super young, and we just like walk around the hotel, and then I would smile all the time and just like chant Chinese words and stuff like that. I also accidentally broke a vase. I kicked it, and then my mom had to pay for it. So, oopsies. So the first few nights my mom had to sleep on the floor with me because I would always fall off the bed or keep trying to get out of my crib, and that's the only way she was able to keep me calm down. For some reason, maybe at the orphanage or something, I always slept on the floor, so that's what I was comfortable with. I'm not really for sure. And then my mom said it was super cute because I'd always like look up at her and be like, Mama, and smile. She said I was a very happy child. A lot of the other children's kind of just had to get kind of used to stuff, but I was always smiling and excited and happy. So each day after the adoption process happened, the big tour bus that she was on would go shopping and tour stuff, and that's when my mom had to get all the paperwork done. She had to get clothes for me and all the basic stuff for that. In China, I had to show no skin. I wore a hat, long sleeves, pants, even when it was hot and humid. So during this time, my mom would always carry me, and then grannies would come up to me like in a stroller or when my mom's carrying me, and they would like slap my cheeks, and I don't know, that's a way that they show affection over there. I don't know if they still do that, but that was a way, and my mom was just kind of like, that's kind of weird just because it's not a American tradition thing to do. And then obviously I didn't like that, so I would always like try to hide in my mom's shirt or like walk away and run away. And then my mom would always put me in like cute little rompers and stuff just to get me in cute clothing and still hide my skin and stuff like that. So what's actually kind of interesting is my mom thought she was going to get a 9-month baby, and then she realized that she got a 14-month child, and so she had to cut through the legs of all like the onesies she got and stuff like that because obviously I was not going to fit in that. So I think that's interesting. There wasn't a smoothness of the adoption. Some bumps were along the way, but obviously nothing ever goes perfect or as planned. So that's that. So like the first hiccup was she didn't get the same picture as I was when I was a child. That's our hypothesis. And then also she thought she was getting a 9-month baby and she got a 14-month one. And then she said, just like when I was a child, even in China, I would like go on the bus and like slap everyone's hands as I walked through the aisle as we went to go sit down. I would do that on the plane. I would put my head through the seat and like try to talk to everyone on the plane and on the bus. So I would always be very outgoing, and I was always singing this song that my mom has no idea what it was in Chinese. I would steal people's food and snacks, and I would just go up to them and be like, and then obviously they're going to give a child food, so I would always get food and snacks, so that was good. I always knew how to survive. They visited my orphanage for one of the days. I walked in, and then the director said that he wanted to hold me and say goodbye, so that was kind of nice. I don't remember this though. And then again, the grannies would slap my face, and I don't think any child would like that, honestly. I don't know why they would think that's affection. Okay, this was kind of crazy. So my mom said there was like 20 to 30 little girls sitting in wooden chairs. I have pictures of that, so I'm definitely showing you those. And they said that 4 children would sleep in a crib. The only toy they had was a beach ball hanging from the ceiling. So obviously it wasn't the best living, and I know after you get so much in age, so much older in age, you get kicked out of the system. So I would probably say maybe 16 or 18. Who knows? I don't know how it was in China back then, but yeah, that is crazy. So then obviously my mom had to go to consulate after that to see if she was like a good enough mom to be able to raise me, and she said it was kind of sketch because it's in this little dark alley warehouse place, and she had to talk to this man. So he just kind of asked like how she would raise me, how she would financially support me, and if we would ever come back or not, and if I would go to college, which I did, and I am now. So that's also when she found out that I was with my biological parents for 7 years. Not years. 7 months. And then they left me because I'm pretty sure it's because of the one-child policy that they had. I was born in 1999, so that's exactly when they're having the one-child policy, as well as they weren't really wanting girls. They wanted men to work in the workforce and stuff. So that was prime time, and that's probably one of the 2 reasons why I was given away / not wanted. I was actually left at the bottom of a mountain at a river where they washed clothes. And I know that sounds very, very similar to Moses' story. I'm unfortunately not Moses, so that didn't happen. So there were actually no notes about me, so the orphanage gave me my name. I don't tell people about my name that much. I have told people a little more than I have before in the past like few months, and it's actually, okay, Shay Dong Cow. I don't know how I feel about that, just because, I don't know, it feels kind of weird just because it has the word cow in it. It's not spelled like cow, but it's just kind of weird. So then I was at the orphanage for 7 months after that, and then obviously my mom adopted me because 7 + 7 is 14, if you guys wanted to know. My mom bought me squeaky shoes and I would not take them off because I would love them and just walk everywhere to make the noise. I remember her when we were in the United States, like when I was a little older, she would always buy me little squeaky shoes or light up shoes, and I'd always like pound around. And I think that was a lot of things we wore back then, is light up shoes as kids, and it was a great time. So I forgot to tell you guys, my mom adopted me on May 7th, so that is very close to Mother's Day. So on Mother's Day, they were still in China, and they went to the Yangtze River, and they had a little Mother's Day celebration. So the group sat down, and I gave my mom a pink carnation and a kiss for Mother's Day, for our first Mother's Day ever. So then after that, they had to fly to Guangzhou. This is where I had to visit the doctor to get checkups to make sure I was healthy enough to fly back to the United States. I weighed about 18 pounds and had 16 teeth as a 14-month-old, so that's kind of crazy. And then the final step was at the hotel. They just took a picture, and then the next morning they got up and flew back to the United States. So my mom said the flight on the way back was kind of crazy because I was always rambunctious and I didn't want to sit down. I always want to walk through the aisles, and it was like a 39 duration of no sleep for her and I, because I would just always stay up. And then the 5-hour layover we had because we missed our plane in San Francisco, so that was great. My mom said for the time being we walked on the escalator for like 4 hours. You know how the ones that just like go like back and forth like slowly, that's was fun I guess for me. And I had my first American food, and it was potato salad. How exciting. I don't even love potato salad right now. It's okay, but it's not my favorite. Then they got to Chicago, and my mom had to run across the whole terminal with me, the bags, and the stroller, and we missed the plane once again, and we were stuck in Chicago for another 2 to 3 hours. So that was a great time. First great day back in the United States. And so because of all these layovers, my mom had to reschedule the little party she had when I came back. So my grandma, my aunt, uncle, my cousins were all waiting at the airport to get me. And my mom was like, well, you have to like come back or something because we aren't going to make it at the time we said. And they were going to meet us in Lincoln Airport, but then because of all this hecticness, we had to fly into Omaha. So they also had to go drive to Omaha and meet us there. So it was kind of crazy because I was still wide awake with 39 hours of no sleep, and my mom didn't realize how I was still going. I don't know how my mom was still going with all of that. Sometimes moms amaze me. They can stay up for hours on end and still be okay. So when I got back to the United States, into Lincoln finally, I met my first black cat. It was my first cat, Colby. He was so cute, and he died though 2 years back. The first time I met him though, I was running and screamed and tried to run up my mom's leg because I thought it was probably a huge rat, because they don't really have animals that often there in China, and if they do, they use them for other purposes other than pets. And then I also screamed because I saw grass and it was like itchy and weird, and I think that's also because in China there's like no plants as much, especially back then. I don't know how it is now, I haven't really looked it up, but back then there's probably a lot of like cement and stuff because it is a very highly populated country, especially because she was also in the main cities in China, so that's also probably why I didn't see grass. I was at an orphanage, I probably didn't get out much, so that was very interesting. I wish we had social media like we did back then, because I would be so excited to see videos of me screaming or like my first seeing Colby and stuff like that, but we did not. We had VHSs and just like big video recorders. So the next day, after that long hecticness, I met a lot of my other family and stuff and my mom's friends, and I honestly was not shy at all, which is weird because as a child, I remember myself being shy. So what the heck? I don't really know how that came about. And then lastly, my mom would always try to make me speak English since day one. If I wanted something and just point to it or like make noises, she'd be like, no, like say the word like milk. So yeah, she would make me say words, like if I pointed at milk, she'd be like, nope, you have to say the word. So I would say milk, or just whatever I wanted, I would have to say it. So I think that was a really good learning point for me, and it was a really good teaching moment for my mom because she's never had a child, and that was a really good thing she learned throughout her years, to teach a child at a young age to speak and not just use like nonverbal cues. So I really gave her credit for that because I was able to like speak really early on as well, so that was really nice. I wanted to share with you my full adoption story all the way from China to Lincoln, Nebraska, and yeah, I thought it would be fun to do that. I love the story of how my mom and I got together. We celebrate every year May 7th, our family day, and we do something special, so I'm super excited to share this story with you. This is something I've never shared with anyone like in depth before, so I thought that was super cool that I'll be sharing with you guys. And a lot of my mom's friends and my family have been with this journey since I was born, so they probably remember it too, more than I do because I was a child. So I think that's super cool and such a special story and unique. So I hope you guys liked watching this. Please comment down below if you have any adoption comments you wanted to make, if you've adopted before, if you ever thought about adopting, things like that. I'd love to chat with you if you have been adopted, stuff like that. So I hope you guys liked watching this, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye, guys.